Attention! This video is in English. If you want to watch the Romanian version, you can find it on my channel or click on the link in the description below. Atenție! Acest videoclip este în engleză. Dacă vrei să vizionezi varianta în română, o poți găsi pe canalul meu sau accesând linkul din descriere. Well, in this review I will be bringing interesting information regarding the revolutionary GTA 3, the iteration from the Grand Theft Auto franchise that has made it become one of the most, if not the most popular gaming series ever created. You will find detailed and interesting facts, things that you might not know, and a personal opinion about GTA 3, the title that has received with the time a legendary status in the gaming world. And by the way, this is the first part from the original GTA 3D era series, in which I will highlight the evolution of these beloved games from GTA 3 to GTA San Andreas, so stay tuned for more. And if you enjoyed this type of content, subscribe, like this video, share it and turn on the notification bell. This is Dave from Golden Age Gaming Productions and you're watching the Golden Age Gaming review of GTA 3. Enjoy! GTA 3, also known as Grand Theft Auto 3, is the first title released by Rockstar Games in the so-called 3D era, consisting of GTA 3, GTA Vice City and GTA San Andreas. It is the game that has put Rockstar Games as a company at the top of the gaming industry. And GTA 3, while maybe not the most polished game in the series and that has lacked a lot of features that became part of the future titles in this franchise, it has, in my opinion, shocked the gaming world at the time with its 3D environments, through its open world design and mostly with its freedom to do basically pretty much everything that you wanted in a modern city area, of course in the limits of the engine and present mechanics. The Grand Theft Auto series, however, had a pretty well-known history even before the release of GTA 3, as there were 4 other titles released in this franchise. 2 main ones, GTA 1 and GTA 2, and 2 expansions for the first Grand Theft Auto game. The concept of these games was quite simple. You are controlling pretty much a criminal who has to complete various tasks in order to get money, to get revenge on his adversaries, and to become a feared mob boss. The game gives you most of the times multiple options to conclude your missions through various vehicles you can steal, including a tank, through various weapons, and it's up to you and your mind and imagination the way you want to complete them. Of course, there is the police system that comes after you for committing crimes, and it is a big part of the GTA series to this day, attempting escaping from them or trying to fight them, creating short to medium long duration chases that most of the players have experienced and enjoyed. In fact, this is probably what most of the players think of when hearing about the GTA series. Thus, at the beginning, and to a degree even today, the GTA franchise is known for its mindless fun action, for its freedom of doing what you want, and less for a strong storyline. The first GTA game, which was simply called Grand Theft Auto, was released in the fall of the year 1997 for MS-DOS, Windows and PS1, with a few months between each platform, being developed by the company DMA Design. It is believed that DMA stands for Direct Memory Access, a process well known in the computer software industry. It is this company that started the GTA phenomenon. After the release of GTA 3, they became part of the Rockstar Games company, being called at the beginning Rockstar Studios and later Rockstar North, more specifically. The DMA design initially consisted of a few talented and inspired members, such as Russell K., Mike Daly or David Jones, which had created some small games prior to the birth of the DMA design company. One of the most successful titles released by them was Lemmings, which was a quite big commercial success, leading to more games being created in this series. But by far, the beginnings of the Grand Theft Auto series has remained the most impressive gaming legacy left by them. Coming back to GTA 1, the game was published by the company BMG Interactive. One interesting fact about GTA 1 is that initially it was supposed to be a game in which you would do the opposite of what we ended up doing, namely to be a police officer chasing after criminals. The game was supposed to be called Race and Chase. The action of the first GTA game takes place in 3 different cities, namely Liberty City, Vice City and San Andreas, if these city names tell you something. They are mostly fictional recreations of the American cities New York, Miami and San Francisco. One nice feature comes from the fact that GTA 1 is one of the first games to incorporate the idea of having radio stations, which was then borrowed by a lot of other developers. GTA 1 also had 2 DLC packs, expansion packs, the first one being called GTA London 1969 and the second one GTA London 1961, both retaining the same formula as the original title, but not making as much of an impact as the mentioned one. Since the DMA design company was based in the UK, this is probably why the developers decided to also recreate London. Anyway, DMA design was then bought by Gremlin Interactive. Then, in 1999, GTA 2 came out, the second main installment in the series, and it is to this day one of the least liked GTA games for various reasons. First of all, the game engine and mechanics did not differ too much from the first GTA. Second of all, the chosen city for this game, called Anywhere City, might not have had the best impact among gamers, as it was pretty dull and sometimes really boring. However, the main character of the game is Cloud Speed, which is also supposedly the protagonist of GTA 3, throwing this here as a nice fact, even though it was never confirmed by the developers. After GTA 2 was out, Gremlin Interactive was bought by Infogrames, and afterwards Take-Two Interactive acquired the assets of the DMA design company, later becoming part of Rockstar Games. And now, coming back to GTA 3, it is the beginning of the 3rd millennium and the technical advancements made are starting to show their results. The PC industry was getting more and more upgrades, both from a hardware and software point of view, and also remembering the birth of the legendary Windows XP. The next generation gaming consoles were also released, the PS2 being a truly remarkable system at that time. These technological advancements have allowed developers to create games like no other time. And I want to say that we are talking about substantial incremental upgrades, revolutions, not just evolutions, like we are seeing nowadays from the PS4 to the PS5 era. This marks the release of the first fully 3D title in the GTA franchise, at the same time being the best-selling game of the year it was released in. GTA 3 was released on pretty much every platform out there since then, from the PlayStation systems to the Xbox consoles. You find this game on mobile devices and even on the Nintendo Switch with the definitive edition and of course on PC. It was first released on PS2 in the year 2001. I also want to mention that I have used for this review the PC version of the game with a few quality of life mods, but not the definitive edition for obvious reasons. When it comes to the 3D environments in a game, it must be said that DMA games had a little bit of experience. By the time they developed GTA 3, they had already released other games that were 3D based, such as Wild Metal Country or Body Harvest, for various companies. The engine that DMA Design chose in the creation of the game I'm talking about in this review is called the Renderware engine, which was really famous during the PS2 games era, and sometimes being called the DirectX of Sony. A lot of games took advantage of this engine, such as the entire original 3D GTA series, games from the Battlefield, Call of Duty, Harry Potter, or the Burnout series. This engine was released by Criterion Software and had more iterations represented in various technical upgrades. But, in my opinion, the way the developers from DMA Design have used this engine, their skill in using the assets, made it special for all of the GTA titles using it. It almost seemed that they were the ones that created it. That is how well they've learned to use it. Thus, for 2001, the graphics were more than good in GTA 3, from textures to animations to physics and visual effects. And this contributed a lot at the popularity of the game, since everyone was amazed at first by the looks of the game, by its realism. And I'm saying that because initially GTA 3 was supposed to have a rather cartoonish look than the more realistic one we have gotten to play, which most definitely would not have helped at the popularity of the game. These images you are seeing of GTA 3 were possible due to the discoveries made by different modders, and the mode I have used is called GTA 3 Alpha Mode 2.0. The audio of the game is, in my opinion, which also seems to be shared by a lot of other persons, just okayish. It isn't bad, but at the same time it also does not impress in any way. The voice actors do not show too much emotion and credibility.
I got news for you. Shooting you will be a pleasure, but dating you was only business. You are muy pequeñito, amigo. Throw over the cash.
The lines are kind of mediocre, and of course we have to remember the main protagonist, Claude, once again, who is also known as the Mute Boy, for obvious reasons, as there are no recorded lines for him. It seems that this came as a decision from Rockstar in order to push both the time and finances towards other areas of the game. The in-game sounds or the sound effects are just alright, I guess, not that impressive even for that time, such as the weapons sounds, or the car sounds, or even the environmental sounds. Then there are also the radio channels, 9 of them specifically in this game, which contain songs mostly written by the composers Craig Connor and Stuart Ross. And by the way, you can watch and hear a personal interesting guitar cover of the main theme song from GTA 3, a musical arrangement performed and recorded by me, by clicking on the link in the description below or by finding it on my channel. But also songs from various artists from this field of activity. There is also a 10th radio consisting in a personal MP3 player, which is only available on the PC and Xbox versions, but it is way more convenient to use it on PC, as all you must do in order to listen to your own music is to place the MP3 or WAV files in a folder automatically created by the game. Now let's listen to this. Okay. And we have reached the point in this review that describes, in my opinion, the most impressive part of GTA 3, and I'm talking about its gameplay. Let's face it, almost everyone plays GTA 3 because of the way you can do what you want. They want to have a good time without really thinking about the storyline the game presents. I know a lot of people that never got to the end of the game or even to the second island in the game, but still regarding the GTA games as one of the most fun ones they have ever played. This is, in my opinion, the magic of this franchise, that even though it has a pretty linear storyline, you don't necessarily have to adopt it. You can play how you want and do what you want. So, all you basically do in this third-person action open-world game is to hijack cars, use them to create a havoc, then fight the police. The police implementation is almost identical to the one found in most of the GTAs, consisting in a wanted system. There are 6 stars in GTA 3, and the more of them you get, the higher the difficulty you will have to escape or to fight the authorities, up to the point where you also fight tanks. There are some in-game items called police bribes, which when getting one, it decreases a star of the ones you have. Or you can escape the police by repainting your car in a paint shop.
Tonight, the TV event that will make history, Liberty City Survivor. This takes reality TV to a whole new level.
I will also add that this police system is maybe not the best implemented one sometimes. If you die, you'll spawn next to the closest hospital, without your weapons and with some of your money taken away. You can find a wide variety of vehicles to drive, including casual normal ones, emergency vehicles, which in, by the way, you can complete various secondary tasks, various trucks or luxurious cars, such as this one, which I was always getting in my playthroughs, just to immediately flip it a few blocks later. Gang cars, which when close enough will get you in trouble later in the game. Even some boats, including a police combat boat that comes with weapons you can shoot, tanks, or even flying vehicles, if that is what this infamous dodo plane can be called as. The flying mechanics are pretty much not finished, something that was admitted by the developers, so do not expect to fly for too long with this thing. But a lot of people know that there is another vehicle that is best suited for flying in GTA 3, talking of course about the tank. The driving controls are maybe not the best, but also not the worst you can find in a game. But what's interesting is the fact that most of the vehicles actually feel pretty different when driving, in comparison to other games, even though you kind of glide and slide all over the place. There is a cinematic camera mode, found later throughout the whole series, and also a top view perspective camera, and GTA 3 must be said that is the last one to include this feature. This way you can play this game like the previous ones from this franchise. When it comes to the weapons found in the game, there is a good variety of them. You have some melee ones, including your fists, or the famous baseball bat. Then you have a pistol, the Uzi, a shotgun, various automatic rifles such as the AK-47 or the M16, which by the way shoots faster than the speed of the light, a sniper rifle, even a flamethrower. And of course a rocket launcher, which has a pretty weird first-person camera aim. You also get grenades and molotovs, but they can be pretty hard to control accurately. Also, in the GTA franchise, these weapons are considered pretty much basic, as in the next installments they got more varied. These weapons can either be found in-game or from the well-known ammunition stores. However, at least in the console versions of the game, the accuracy is pretty much lacking, with the aiming system being quite bad actually. On PC it is better, as you use your mouse to control the camera. For your health, you can find health packages, some of them found throughout the game, mostly next to the hospitals. You also get a body armor, but which has to be bought from the ammunition store or to be found in very specific locations. There are also some hidden packages in the game, which besides giving you money, every time you find 10 of them, some of the weapons and other items in the order told previously will spawn at your safe houses. And now talking about the safe houses, there is one for each of the 3 main areas present in the game. And believe me, you will want to save your progress as often as possible in GTA 3, otherwise you will risk having to complete some missions you have already done again, and this is more than annoying. You can also save your favorite cars in the garages next to the safe houses, because otherwise they will despawn next time you load the save file. You can do all these activities in a pretty wide open world and varied map representing Liberty City, a fictional amalgam of American cities, one of them being New York. In fact, the grayish color tint found especially in the initial area comes from the idea of the developers to simulate the pollution and filth found in a big industrial city like the name one. You start with the initial area called Portland, continuing with Staunton Island, and later in the game reaching the shoreside vale. But you will not be able to access the former two ones without progressing with the storyline, unless of course you use cheat codes. There is also later in the game a rudimentary version of fast travel, if you can call it like that, because you can travel between these three big areas by the subway or the train, the way they call it in the game. But, in my opinion, once you got bored of driving people over and getting chased by the police, there is not that much left to do. There aren't any fun activities besides the already mentioned ones, some races, which I personally did not find that fun either. Or these RC car side missions. And some other minor stuff such as the import-export quests, which involve delivering specific cars to cranes or garages, some stunts jumps, rampages, in which you are in some sort of a rage mode, a frenzy mode, and cause chaos, or the off-road challenges, where you must collect a number of checkpoints, each of them granting you 15 more seconds, but you do not need to exceed the given time as you will fail them. Thus, the side activities are a minus of this game in my opinion, but which were vastly improved in the next GTA installments. But if you want to 100% the game, you must also complete them. I will begin by saying that the storylines were maybe not that great in the first GTA games, but at the same time that wasn't a huge problem, as most of the players were focusing on the gameplay anyway. However, there are some interesting ideas coming from the GTA 3 story that I will discuss in the next minutes. First of all, there is a progression system based on completing different missions for various contractors, if you can call them like that. You start on the first area of the tree found in the game, namely Portland, and cannot advance further until you complete a number of objectives. The story is told throughout 50 primary missions, which need to be completed in order to progress in the game. There are also secondary ones, such as the payphone missions, but they are not mandatory and can be pretty boring. There are 17 of these missions. The story is also told through the help of some cutscenes, some of them pretty good, others not so much, but they do help at somehow completing the image of what the developers wanted to present us.
Have to talk. Why don't you go cruise around?
You'll need a place to lie low. There's a warehouse at the edge of Belleville that should suit your needs. Come back here to my condo when you're ready, and you and me can have a little chat.
One of the problems that I personally found in GTA 3 is the lack of variety found in the main missions, something that has changed in good, however, in the following titles from this franchise. Even so, there still are some rather interesting missions that you can play in GTA 3. And by the way, because it would be boring to talk about every mission, I have selected only some of the most interesting ones to talk about. The game begins by presenting you the main character, namely Claude, supposedly the same Claude Speed from GTA 2. A criminal that came to Liberty City with his girlfriend Catalina to complete various delicts. The action of the game takes place during the early 2000s, and Claude's arrival to Liberty City comes from the fact that he loses in the favor of Carl Johnson, CJ, the main character of GTA San Andreas, his garage after a race. However, Catalina betrays him during a heist.
But I'm an ambitious girl. Small time.
And lives with Miguel, a member of the Colombian cartel. And this becomes the main plot of the game, namely for Claude to get his revenge. After being in custody, Claude manages to escape following a cartel attack on the convoy he was in.
Come on!
Alongside 8-Ball, a bombs expert. Who becomes his helper, bringing him to a safe house. And also a bomb explodes, destroying the bridge towards the next section of the map. Eight-Ball then introduces Claude to one of the so-called mafia families from the city, specifically the Leon family. You will soon realize that there are a bunch of mafia families in the game, each of them looking for supremacy. At the beginning, a member of the Leon family, called Luigi Gottarelli, who is basically a pimp, gives you more tasks, most of them involving killing some other pimps or delivering girls.
Grab a car and pick up Misty from the clinic, then bring her back here. Remember, no one messes with my girls. So keep your hands on the wheel. Don't mess this up. Maybe there'll be more ways.
Another Leon member, Joey Leon, gives you the task to teach Lips Forelli a lesson, one of the Forelli brothers, for not paying their debts, and you do so by stealing his car, rigging it with a bomb, and bringing it back just to see the final result. The fight against the Triads becomes more and more aggressive, up to a point where you have to destroy their fish company by blowing it up with a rigged truck that you must drive to their location. Then you get to meet the Don of the Leon family, going by the name of Salvatore. You do some missions in which you must watch after Maria, which is the Don's wife. I have mentioned this because it will impact the story more a bit later in the game. Then there is the big business of Spank, a drug produced by the cartel, and Salvatore gives you the task to kill a traitor in the person of Curly Bob, who is proven right to have been a rat, trying to do business with the other side.
Turn forward with the Triads, with no sign of either side giving up. Meanwhile,
in order to get revenge, Salvatore then proceeds to make you destroy a ship full of this Spank, a task in which 8-Ball also comes to help. First off, you must take care of a bunch of cartel members, which also serves as covering 8-Ball while he plants his bombs on the boat. Then watch the fireworks show. After this mission is completed, Salvatore will soon send you into another trip, one that would have killed Claude if Maria would not have told him through a pager, yeah guys, these were the days, that it was a trap and Salvatore wanted to eliminate Claude because Maria told him he had an affair with the mute boy. Which was a lie, but I guess whatever, I don't know.
Don't ask me what, I don't know.
She tells you to meet up at the docks, where you also meet the leader of the Yakuza, Asuka Kassen. Which helps Claude move away from the Leon family to Staunton Island and also gives him a place to stay.
So that should suit your needs. Come back here to my condo when you're ready, and you and me can have a little chat.
Of course, the help comes at a cost, as you need to do various jobs for the Yakuza now. The first one involves getting rid of Salvatore itself, among other tasks. You also get to do tasks later for Asuka's brother and co-leader Kenji Kasen, which are pretty much your typical GTA missions, and by the way, some of them are missable if not completed in a certain order. Then you're introduced to Ray Machowski, a corrupt cop which gives you objectives from a public restroom in order not to get attention from the more powerful ones. You get to kill Leon McCaffrey, Ray's former partner, and after a failed attempt, you get rid of him for good in a rather interesting fashion by hitting the ambulance he's being transported with until he falls out of it. You then can either step over him or use explosives to kill him, as his body is completely covered in bandages after the previous failed murder attempt, and thus providing him some protection. Later in the game, you help this Ray guy escape Liberty City by escorting him to the airport. The next character that will give you tasks is Donald Love, a politician type guy, which after a few of them he proceeds to tell you his genius idea of starting a war between the cartel and Yakuza in order for his business to rise. And you prepare an ambush in which you run over Kenji, Asuka's brother, and escape in a spectacular fashion. Then, after collecting some packages for the politician, you get to a construction site run by the cartel just to find Catalina and Miguel, the latter one being betrayed and shot by the former. Flashbacks, flashbacks, flashbacks.
Hey, let's get this out of here. God knows what it is, but he seems to want it badly enough, so it must be worth something.
Hold on, hey!
You!
Hey, take it easy, amigo. No es nada, no es nada.
I left you pouring your heart out into the gutter.
Hey, don't shoot, amigo. No problem. We all friends? Here,
Don't be
take
such a
this.
pussy.
Hey, we got no choice, baby. Yeah.
You always got a choice, you dumb bastard.
I'm sorry about the crazy...
Anyway, allowing Catalina to escape. Asuka also makes her appearance and begins torturing Miguel for information, thinking that he and the cartel were the ones that killed her brother.
This worm killed my brother.
I never killed no Yakuza.
Liar! We all saw the cartel assassin. We are going to hunt down and kill...
And about the politician guy, he later disappears without ever to be mentioned again in the entire GTA series.
Are you sure about that?
Well, actually, you can also find Donald Love in GTA Vice City as the apprentice of another mobster called Avery Carrington, but from a timeline point of view, the events of Vice City take place earlier, in the 80s, so technically my previous statement isn't necessarily bogus. And Donald Love is present in GTA Liberty City Stories too, by the way. It's just that he is never mentioned again after the events from GTA 3. After a few other missions given by Asuka that have the goal of diminishing the power of the cartel, you come back to the construction site just to find both Miguel and Asuka dead, alongside a message telling you about the last primary mission in the game. The last mission, called The Exchange, has you bring in $500,000 to a mansion in Shoreside Vale, the way Catalina has told you, in order to rescue Maria. Of course, it is an ambush which you fight off,
Not to be trusted. Kill the idiot!
and get to this dam, where Catalina gets in a helicopter. Your task is to destroy the helicopter and end Catalina.
Get this thing airborne!
And after a few funny failed attempts, you finally destroy the helicopter. However, the game ends pretty much in a cliffhanger as you see both Claude and Maria walking into the sunset just to hear a gunshot, and Maria also stops speaking, which means that Claude killed her, I guess.
I broke a nail and my hair is ruined. I mean, can you believe it? This one cost me $50.
Only the developers could solve this mystery. And that's it for the main story. I will end up this section by also mentioning some interesting facts regarding GTA 3. First of all, I will name the release of the GTA Liberty City Stories expansion, which acts as a prequel and was released in 2005 for the PSP initially, afterwards getting a PS2 release, in which you play as Tony Cipriani, who was also part of the Leon family and which also gives you some tasks in GTA 3, including the first meetup with Salvatore Leon. This expansion also had a multiplayer mode on the PlayStation Portable. But more about this expansion could come later in a separate video. GTA 3 was also supposed to launch in September 2001, but because of the 9/11 events that took place, it was delayed by a month, and therefore it is believed that the Twin Towers were supposed to be in-game initially, just to be removed. The color of the police cars was also changed from blue to black because it was resembling the way the police cars looked like in New York. There also was a multiplayer mode that should have been part of the game, but probably because of the time and financial constraints it was dropped. You can also find some Easter eggs in the game, the GTA series being famous for these things, such as the moon that shrinks or enlarges if shot with the sniper rifle, or the Vice City teaser billboard, or the internet cafe GTA references, among others. There are also tons of mods created by various people that can make GTA 3 even seem like another game, bringing important modifications from graphics, cars or weapons textures, and a lot of other stuff. Besides what I have described, there are many more interesting facts regarding the removal of various content and other stuff that did not make it in the final version of the game or has suffered modifications. You also have a bunch of cheat codes, which are in my opinion a good way of having a good time in this game, by some time creating just pure chaos. In conclusion, the graphics of GTA 3 were some of the most realistic and impressive for that time, this being the first thing most players noticed when playing the game, even though the physics had both pros and cons, while the cinematics were pretty average in my opinion. The audio design is not that great, but it includes some nice sound effects, as well as the radio stations, a feature brought from the first game in the series. The gameplay remains the most important part of GTA 3 through its variety of things you can do or through its freedom and open world design. The story does not impress, but after all, I think even the developers did not really count on it, but some of the missions have some interesting moments. The side activities are a hit or miss in my opinion. Overall, I will be a little harsh with the final score, as this is one of my favorite franchises, and will rate GTA 3 at an 8 out of 10, also giving it the Golden Age Award, the Must Play Award, and the Legendary Award for its legacy and contribution to the future of gaming. So, This pretty much wraps up the review of GTA 3. The only thing left I would like to mention being the fact that Rockstar Games should be more careful when releasing games in an unacceptable state, the way the definitive edition once were, because it truly harms its core player base and also their own legacy that has put them on the gaming map. At the end of the review, and as usual, I would like you to write in the comments below your favorite memories involving this game GTA 3 and tune up for the next part in this series, specifically the review of GTA Vice City. And if you enjoyed the content, please subscribe, like this video, share it and turn on the notification bell for more videos like this. This was Dave from Golden Age Gaming Productions and you just watched the Golden Age Gaming review of GTA 3. And remember, time is ticking away, but memories are here to stay. See you next time.